It's a bear. Got it right this time. Yes, the coin toss is back for now. I don't know. Hey, what's going on? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea, of course. Nice day today. Kind of been rainy, though. It's our typical summertime months where we get the rain in the afternoons. Gets real hot here, and then all the water evaporates off the Everglades and the Lake Okeechobee, and then it starts drifting over here where it unleashes when it gets to the ocean. Check out the beautiful cam today and the Deerfield Beach live cam. I mean, there's so much fish out there today. Lots of snapper. I can see the snapper in the background here. Of course, you got your moonfish that are usually always there. A lot of other exotic fish, and I'm sure you've got your predators running around there too. And there is I got one of these in my fish tank. I forget what they're called. Well, cool video today, really. They got to clean the camera too. It looks like the lens is a little bit foggy, but let's get into today's topic, which is, hang on one second. You'll never believe who said this. Of course you will, because it's written right here. Ben Bernanke said this. I know, you're going to be surprised. The economic repercussions of a stock market crash depend less on the severity of the crash itself than on the response of economic policymakers, particularly central bankers. So basically, Ben Bernanke said, and he said this, that it's more about the response of central bankers is what the economy is all about. And we can blame the federal government for spending too much money, and they have for years and years. Both parties, they've been there are no fiscally responsible people in Washington, D.C. We know this. But meanwhile, the Fed has done nothing but enable the government to dig themselves into a hole. It's like giving candy to kindergarten kids. It's giving candy to little kids. Do you think the little kids are going to cut themselves off from candy when you just keep throwing them candy all the time? That's exactly what the Fed has done to U.S. policymakers and the U.S. government for decades and decades. They've just kind of giving candy to little kids, and little kids aren't going to stop themselves until they get sick, puke it up, or get diabetes. And unfortunately, this is what our economy's got: diabetes. And again, Ben Bernanke, when he said this, I know exactly. When he said this right here, itself. Then on the response of he's saying the response of economic policymakers, particularly central bankers, is the reason markets crash and they don't crash. Well, I'm here to say that the response of the central bankers, particularly the Federal Reserve, has been really dismal. Now, you got to ask yourself two questions. These are either the dumbest people in the world, central bankers are, or they're the smartest people in the world, and they have a plan. They have a reason why they're doing all this. They have a reason why they've given candy to little kids addicted. Or it's like giving drugs to an addict. That's even a better analogy now. You can't even call Congress and Senate the little kids anymore. They're more like addicts, drug addicts. And again, that drug addict is very unlikely to cut themselves off unless they're until they hit rock bottom and/or die, one or the other. And it's the same thing with giving money, continuously giving money, enabling the U.S. government to get itself so far in debt. And again, you got to ask yourself, is the Fed that stupid, or are they smart? Well, there's two sides to this. Maybe they are that stupid. But I don't believe that. I don't believe the Fed has been able to keep this sham going as long as 1913 being stupid. That's for damn sure. Even they knew in 1913, and as they do today, that no fiat currencies ever survive for any length of time. So they know they've got shelf life. That's exactly what the Fed has with the dollar, shelf life. And they've been able to keep this shelf life going to so far to this date. Now, mind you, they're competing against all other Federal Reserve currency. I mean, they're not Federal Reserve. They're competing against other central banks and other currencies. But as we know, the dollar had the ability to put itself in a good position after World War II, and even surprisingly, after we went off the gold standard, and Nixon completely took us off the gold standard, which there's doubt whether was it his fault that he did it or not. But no less. Other countries didn't abandon the dollar at the time. You know why? Because we had already settled our place. We've already got our foot in the door as the the world dollar. Okay, but Nixon took us off the gold standard. Didn't change much. People. The dollar was still used as a standard across the world until we weaponized it. But that's a whole different story. But no less, is the Fed stupid? I don't think so. They've allowed the federal government to get in debt in such a large degree, it's not even funny. And think, what does the Fed buy? And when I was thinking about how the Fed was helpful during the 2008 housing crisis, they were buying property. All right, they were buying toxic mortgages. They were buying all this, and so they were buying real assets. They were buying property. They were buying parts of companies, car companies, you name it. Again, that's the QE or whatever, when the Fed's out there buying assets that they don't even have to tell you that they're buying assets, okay? So they're buying the whole country, owning the whole country. And what are they paying everyone with? Worthless dollars. So, I mean, how stupid are they? You know what I'm saying? But no less, let me get out of here, because let's get into gold prices and silver prices. We can always get back to how the genius or the stupidity of the Fed, but here's one truth that I know, and we're going to talk about cryptocurrencies as well. Hey, don't forget to check out tomorrow's video, because I'm going to do a video on how to magically make your silver grow without even adding more money to it. What I mean is you'll get how to add more silver to your stash without spending a dime. All right, it's going to be a cool show tomorrow. I'll get into that later as well. But take a look at the ranges here. Now, when you look at what's happening, take a look at the stock market right now. I wanted to wait a little bit from this morning's close. I could have done the video early. I know I'm making excuses, but take a look at this, man. It's just suffering, succotash. 846 points down on Dow Jones, S&P down 140 points, and NASDAQ. At what point will they close? If it gets over 1,000, we'll have a reversal today. What do you think? I think the Fed's going to come in and save the day some degree, and we're going to not see 800 points down, but you never know. You never know. Because, again, my belief and the belief of a lot of other people out there is that the stock market hasn't collapsed overnight like it did in 2008, even though the situation is the same, if not 10 times worse than it was in 2008, because they never fixed anything. They just kept throwing more money at the problem. But again, I digress. I believe that the presidential plunge team, or the PPT, which is a formation of the president's administration, the Treasury Department and the Federal Reserve, where they can go in there and they can manipulate markets around, and they do, and they don't have to tell you about it. They don't have to ever tell anyone. It's all done in secrecy, and I believe that's the only reason this market hasn't collapsed, but it's just too big for them. It's a sustained collapse is what we're seeing, instead of the old overnight stuff. If there's one thing that the Fed probably learned, again, whether you think they're stupid or they're smart, is not to let things collapse overnight. So this is a sustained collapse. We're going to see where it stops. I don't know. I'm guessing that the Dow Jones, S&P, and NASDAQ have quite a bit ways to go, but we'll see what happens. And out of all the things that have gone down quite a bit, it looks like next to the Dow, gold got whacked about 2% as well. And again, let's get back here and take a look at prices of gold and silver. And I'm going to bring up a really important point. You're looking at gold being down 2%. You're looking at silver being down. What's the percentage of silver? It's even probably more, but no less. The Dow Jones, the S&P, and the NASDAQ, as is cryptos. I mean, take a look at cryptos, folks. I mean, holy shit! Wow. That surprises me. I didn't think we'd see cryptos at these levels, but again, are they? Wow. 22.8. That's probably not an all-time low. That's a low since what, 2020 or something like that. Holy smokes. Where she stops, no one knows. But Bitcoin was supposed to be a replacement for gold. Bitcoin was supposed to be, and Ethereum and all these were supposed to tether. We're supposed to be a place where people went when they thought the world was going to go to shit. The way that the crypto community promoted this was that, oh yeah, when gold's outdated, gold's out fast, gold, no one's going to buy gold, no one's going to hold gold anymore, which is the big bullshit, because if you think about it, depending on how you look at them, the smartest or the dumbest people in the world, central banks all over the world, own gold, all right? Again, are they smart? Are they stupid? I'm starting to believe, and I waffle between the two, but they're smart. They're genius. They have the equipment. They have the computer. They have the algorithms. They have the staff. They have the money to buy whatever they want. The Federal Reserve does any information, data, whatever they want. They can buy off governments, and that's exactly what I think is going on right now. Is they hate competition, and they saw Bitcoin as a big competition. And there's one thing that I know for sure: governments and banks hate competition. And when they look at you as competition, you might as well kiss your ass goodbye, pretty much. And they also look at gold as competition as well. However, they own gold. I mean, they can't take gold to zero, because don't forget, a lot of central banks own gold. A lot of banks own, and the wealthy and the elite. Gold is money. They know this. Bitcoin, not so much, I think. Well. Look at the low here. I'm going to do a quick refresh here because it's moving so fast. So the low of 1825 on gold, the high of 1879. Boy, I wish I'd sold off my little stash at 1880 the other day, but no less, I'm not worried about it. Gold has stayed in this 1800 plus range, all right? Despite the fact that we've taken a 2.5%, we are not hitting the lows. We are not breaking through the all-time lows like the NASDAQ is, like the S&P again, and the oh my gosh, I'm losing it. The Dow. Okay, those things are hitting new lows on a weekly basis, on a daily basis. Whereas gold and silver, we're just in that range. We're still, despite the fact that the world's collapsing around us, we're in that range right now, folks. We're in that 1800 plus range. Silver's held on to this $21 level somewhat. However, I don't think the sell-off. And again, think about this. Ted Butler talks about this in an article we're going to get to in a little bit. There's no reason why gold should be at 1826, all right? But gold is still, and again, I'm going to point, this is something Ted Butler said in his newsletter that I read recently, gold's still within 10% of its all-time high. I mean, and think about that related to, again, the stock market and stuff, all right? And cryptos, think about it. Are they within 10% of their all-time high? Not even close. Gold is still within 10% of its all-time high right now. It's been trading in this range. It's still above 1800. I think we built an 1800 base a while back ago. Silver is sitting in the 21 plus range. We've seen it as high as 27. And here's a low right here of 2103, I believe, and a high of 22. Again, dollar range. But this is not abnormal for silver. But here's a problem with silver. Gold, while it's within its 10% range of its all-time high, silver has still never gotten above 50%, really, if you think about it. But it's less than 50% of its all-time highs that we've seen. That's $1980 too, which would even be higher if you were going to adjust it for inflation. So, the gold to silver ratio is probably tightened up a little bit with gold being down, but silver is such a highly manipulated market. The problem with gold and silver, and especially silver, is the price discovery. That's the only reason gold and silver is down. That's the only reason you're seeing gold and silver down, especially silver, in this inflationary market where every commodity has gone up except for silver. Why? Because it is so highly manipulated by big commercial short positions that have been doing this for a long time. I'm so tired of talking about it. I guess at some point Ted even gets tired of talking about it. However, what we want to point out, and what I want to say, is that manipulation can only last so long. I know decades, they've been doing it decades, but at some point it blows up in their faces. Silver's blown up in their faces twice already, 2012, 2008, and I think the next blow up is not going to be. They're not, well, you never underestimate these folks, but I don't think they're going to be able to knock it down. I think we're looking at new levels next time on silver, and hopefully we can stay at the $50 plus level for silver, on our next climb up. But anyways, getting ahead of myself here. Take a look at platinum, still in that $900 range. Palladium is sub gold right now, which is kind of very interesting. I think I've been expecting to see this for some time. But I believe this speaks volumes that palladium it has something to do with industry, also has something to do with maybe the automotive industry switching over to platinum, which is a possibility here as well. So I think palladium, I think there's more room to the downside here. I think platinum is going to take a big swing upwards unless the automotive industry gets really hit hard here. Speaking of automotive industry, I want to tell you a little, again, I'm getting away from gold, silver, and platinum here, but platinum and palladium have a lot to do with this as well. I'm looking for new cars, so I'm out looking. I'm at the biggest Toyota dealerships out there, and they have nothing on the lots, folks. This has been for a while. I've been looking for cars for a while. I ordered a Mercedes Sprinter last October from Mercedes. I'm still waiting for it, okay? Maybe I'll get it this October, 1 year later. The supply lines, the amount of new cars out there, the price of used cars. I looked at a RAV4. I said, a hybrid, cute little RAV4 just getting around town. You know, nothing's $50,000 when you're near tax for a fucking RAV4, folks. Come on. They got anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 surcharges for vehicles that are on the lot. On the lot, okay? Even big surcharges for stuff that's coming up. I don't know why, but there's absolutely very little new cars on the lots. There's very few stuff coming in through that pipeline. It would seem to me that there's a big demand for new cars right now, and that the automotive companies should have this geared up, but apparently they still haven't. There's still big delays on cars. I believe possibly that they're going to just use 2022 models as a wash. By the way, if there's any time to buy a car that might be rare, even a Camry, 2022 might be the rarest Camrys out there. Folks, that may have a lot to do, again, with the platinum palladium market. Now, if we're going to look at lower car numbers, lower production number in cars and stuff like that, and why would new cars sales go down substantially? Why would be there less demand for new cars and such the huge demand for new used cars right now? I mean, used cars. I looked at a Subaru 2022 Subaru versus a 2019 Subaru. They wanted, I forget what they wanted for the Subaru, but I asked, the Subaru was 5 years old. I said, what was it selling for new? Oh, $5,000 more than what we're asking for now. Really? No better time to sell your used car if you got too many of them, folks, but try to replace it is a nightmare. And again, what's going to happen? I think that as far as the automotive production goes, that the automotive production business for 2022 is shot, and they'll probably just start gearing up for 2023s maybe. Well, anyway, I'm not here to talk about cars, but it does tie into platinum and palladium. And let's do a quick refresh one more time here. And my coffee's getting low. Doggone it. All right, I think we've kind of pretty much seen the hit for the day in precious metals. And let's take a look at the 24-hour chart. I'm going to do a refresh here. And of course, last night, everything's fine. Here's your, where is it? Sunday night. Here's Sunday night right here. And as you can see, gold sitting in the 1870 range. Starts to drift down in the New York Globex evening markets, of course, where it continues to kind of stay range bound. Well, here we go. There's the green right there. That's what we're looking for. Where it kind of continues to kind of drift downward in the overnight markets. And then there you go, New York Crimex markets, 8:20 in the morning, gets monkey hammered down in a major way. Not in the overnight markets. I think the overnight markets have been like death of a thousand cuts with precious metals for the last couple of weeks, gold and silver. They knock it down in the evenings, knock it down, general weakness, get it down to a level, and then when Crimex opens up, man, that's when they bang it. I believe that we're going to start to see this line right here, this green line, which represents today, and this is at the moment. We'll start to see this line drift back up into the mid-21 range, I think. Let's see how much the stock market gets hammered here as well. Because as I said, you know, when we start to see the stock market get really super hammered, it's going to take down some of the paper markets in gold and silver with it too to some degree. And again, I believe that's what we're seeing, besides the standard monkey hammering. And silver the same way. Take a look at this, drifting kind of downward over the evening, 2160s where we saw it, again, close to $22 when it opened last night. It starts to drift in the overnight Globex. You know, again, Crimex owns Globex as well. Those are evening markets that are really weak, and you don't see a lot of trading. And when you see major declines in the overnight markets, you can tell for sure that's just plain out monkey hammering. No one sells large amounts of gold in thinly traded markets. So that's why you know when you see big downs in those overnight markets, that's just pure manipulation. Just like when you see it here in the New York Crimex markets. Take a look at that. Why would gold and silver be down substantially in an inflationary market like this when every other commodity is up substantially, including why? Because, I'll let you say it. We know what's happening. Let's take a look and see. All right, okay, it's kind of coming back here a little bit. I think the plunge protection team is in there right now. It was, minus 800 for a little bit there. And I think they're going to keep it within this range, or even probably knock that down. So there you go. I believe the Fed, along with the Treasury Department, is in there buying up stocks, bonds, and other things right now. As far as cryptos, my gosh, I'm just really blown away by how down they are. And I'm not I know some people own cryptos out there, but man, at what point does this get tempting even for us gold and silver people to buy? And I know some of you are going to say never. But I think Bitcoin's here to stay to some degree, but will it ever rocket back up to that $60,000 anytime quickly? I'm not thinking it will. And where's the bottom on this, right? I don't know. Let's take a look at, let's get out of there because there's so much pain here, and I know some of you are invested there, and I don't want you thinking about it too much. I don't know. Let's think about gold and silver and see what's happening. ZH, stocks open with fifth largest sell program in history. Bonds, bullion, Bitcoin, and bullion all battered. I think this headline is misleading because I do believe bonds and Bitcoin have been battered, but anybody that wrote this article would know that bullion has not been battered. It's just trading within the same range we've been trading in for, what, weeks now? 1800, low 1800s back up to mid 1800s, back and forth. Silver down to the 21s, high 20s, back into the mid 20s. So bullion has not been battered at all. Very misleading headline there. But you can bet your ass that bonds and Bitcoin have been battered pretty much. Let's go down here. Oh yeah, they won't tolerate. Oh really? They're not going to tolerate any violence from the so-called liberals out there. They're not liberal. I'm a liberal, man. You know what liberal means? Liberal doesn't mean what they tell you to mean. It doesn't mean you're a leftist or a Marxist. Liberal means that you're liberal. The Constitution is liberal to people. That's why we have a great Constitution. Liberal means free speech. Liberal means allowing people to be independent thinkers. Liberal means, but anyways, FBI says it won't tolerate that. And I hope so, because I think the FBI has turned into a large political police station, more or less, politicized police station, run by a bunch of, I hate to say it, but leftists, unfortunately. People urge Vegas out of, that's a shame. Wildfires. When I visited California, when I used to do surfing contests out there, when I used to run a surfing contest out in Ventura, man, I saw some of those fires. They're pretty damn scary. What else is going on? Critical Fed height rate, all right? Treasuries, by the way, remember when they used to say, and the general public probably still believes this, as do CNBC talking heads, Wall Street talking heads, Bloomberg talking heads. I think they still believe that when treasuries pay more, when treasuries start to get jacked up and, they're like, what, 3.25% right now, and the interest rate starts being raised, okay, that's going to affect the price of gold and silver. No, I don't think. Well, it does. So the narrative does that that's supposed to happen, but the narrative is bullshit. The narrative is a lie, because even at 3.25% on treasuries, at an 8% plus CPI and an 8%, inflation's even higher than that. There's no way they'd have to triple the interest rates. They'd have to triple this critical Fed interest rate in order to match what we're to get even to a break-even point. Treasuries at 3.25% are a huge loser. All right. Right now, it looks like the stock and bond market is a huge loser. It looks like, where do you put your frickin' money? You're not going to put it in cryptos. I say gold. Take a look at it. Again, 10% within its high, still trading in a range that it hasn't traded outside. Now, silver, I think, is a great buy as well. I think silver has been hugely manipulated, but there's no buts about it. I like being diversified in both metals. Here, let me get out of here real quick. But the myth, the narrative myth that higher interest rates will hurt gold is just that, a myth. It went away a long time ago, but it's still used by talking heads on CNBC, economic talking heads that, clueless people that don't understand. So let's move along here. Emerging markets, right. Gosh damn. he's an embarrassment to us. He really is. The whole party that he's involved with is an embarrassment to the whole world as well now. And that whole recent committee thing, wow, what an embarrassment that was. I didn't watch it, but I saw parts of it. I'm telling you, folks, it's a fucking circus. It's a shit show. But let me get out of that. I don't want to digress and get into politics. You know how I can get. Panic, depression, okay, I read that. What else is going on out here? Bank floats outside chance of 100, big deal. You know, again, rising interest rates won't freaking hurt the price of gold and silver. The only way it hurts the price of gold and silver is the perception that's out there that, people, it's 3%. But you know what? People are smart enough now. They already know that the CPI is in. They already know that that the cost of living is well above 8%. So people are much more savvy than they used to be back in the old days, and they're going to look at Treasury. They're going to say, safe place to put my money at a loss, and they're only going to give me 3.25%. No way. I'm not doing that. I'm going to put my money in gold. I mean, I tell you, we're going to revert back to the gold, and we're going to revert back to silver. And once a small segment of that investing public starts buying gold and silver, all bets are off, folks. And where are we going to go through here? I hate to say this. I said this a month ago. I've been looking at the battle maps. I've been saying this for over a month ago, that they were going to lose the entire East. They were going to lose the entire South, including, I think, the Port of Odessa is probably next on that list of places they're going to go to, or Kharkiv. I follow this very closely, folks. I've been following it since 2014. And what I can tell you is that people are dying needlessly on both sides on this. Ukrainians are dying needlessly. Russians are dying needlessly. And this was all created by our government. This was all created by CIA-inspired coup back in 2014, which we call color revolutions in the past, but we did this, folks. We turned this country into turmoil and shit. We did this. Our government did this. We created a war between two groups of people, the East and the West, which never did like each other, but were never at war with each other until we got involved. And I say we, okay? I know some of you say, I didn't do it, but you know what? We allow our elected officials to do this, and we need to take back our government and promote peace, prosperity, not war, blood, and the loss of land. That's my opinion. And whatever happened to the party of peace, the so-called administration that's in charge right now, and this party that's in charge right now, they aren't even anything but fucking peaceful. These people are war hawks to the nth degree. They need to go, man, I'm telling you. And I'm not fond of the other party either. It's just like the last horse of the glue factory. Which one do you go with? And boy, I hate saying lesser evils, but I think that the entire Washington, D.C. needs, and both parties needs, a huge shakeup. And that shakeup would involve a couple more parties coming in and holding all these parties, both parties, this duopoly they have, accountable. Boy, it's a long report today. Can we call today Black Monday? I don't think so. We haven't seen over 1,000-point loss. And in fact, let's just take a look one more time and seeing if they kind of reduce this hemorrhaging here. There you go, 700. There you go. The losses are being reduced in here. And again, my opinion. I believe that's being propped up by the plunge protection team. And if you're new to my videos or you forget who the plunge protection team is, just go to your search engine, type in plunge protection team. When you read it, if you've never read it before, your jaw will drop. You will understand how rigged these markets are, and you'll say, "Gosh darn, Brian, you were right." Supply chains. This is not good. Supply chains won't recover until 2023. Well, kind of what I said, 2023. I think they're going to just gear up for 2023. Does this mean I'm not going to get my Sprinter this year? Most likely. I gave them a deposit too, man. They're not even paying me interest on that deposit. Boy, I got to ask them about that. I want interest on my deposit, you bastards. I'm losing money just having money sitting with Mercedes right now. Let's take a look at Monday puke observations. Not too much here to talk about. Oh, God, this was an interesting article. Has nothing to do with gold and silver, but wow. AI is sentient right now. That wouldn't surprise me, and it's actually a bit scary. Interesting, a lot of interesting stuff to read on there. Hey, we're going to take a look at Friday's video, which is Fed created bubble burst, and I think this whole economy is because of the Fed. Now, again, when I started at the beginning of the video, is it their fault? I mean, not their fault. Of course, it's their fault. Are they geniuses or are they completely stupid? I'm of the belief that the Fed is brilliant. They've kept the sinking ship that this Titanic called the economy, or this Titanic called the dollar, fiat. They kept this Titanic dollar around since 1913, and even more so since the 1970s, where you can see the decline really starts to happen. Let's do a maximum chart. But as you notice, the Fed and the dollar was able to keep that dollar somewhat sustainable. Again, remember, we were backed by gold, we were backed by silver during this period, but the reason you're seeing the value of that dollar going down is because we were backing it less and we were spending more. But after we completely came off any kind of gold or silver backing period, you can see the trend has been downward. And again, that's exactly what Fed chairmen are supposed to do. They're like the captain of a sinking ship. They're supposed to calm everyone, get everyone believing that the ship's not going down. Enjoy yourself, do what you can, go up. Meanwhile, it is. Well, let's take a look at the comments from yesterday and Friday's video. Close your eyes if you get dizzy. Ooh, there we go. Let's take a look. Quite a few comments in. Thank you, Silas. Welcome, Nick. Yeah, Dr. Paul, what a great man. I believe Ron Paul, no one's perfect, and Ron Paul had his imperfections, but when it came to the economy and when it came to domestic spying and when it came to our foreign policy, and again, and especially central banks and sound money, I mean, those are big items there, folks. Imagine if Ron Paul had won. I think a lot of this stuff would have been fixed. We wouldn't be in the situation that we're in right now, and our Constitution would really mean something to these people in D.C. Thanks for commenting, Nick. I appreciate it. Can't argue with that at all. Thanks for, my pleasure, Nancy. Nice. Thanks for watching. And it looks like another, here, you know what I do to those guys. I just knock them out when I see them. Silas, yeah, that's the song. Who sang that song? War, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Oh, man, I know the guy's name. I forget it. So thanks for commenting, Silas. There we go. Another one. Let's just knock this out together, folks. We'll remove those nasty, what do they call them? All right. Fred, slogan, have it our way. Exact. Gosh, there's a lot of them on Friday's video. Remove that one, too. Grab more gold. BS Detective, how you doing, buddy? Have it our way. Exactly. We will someday. We will. I believe that the tides are going to turn and that this these Marxist, leftist, communist slash democratic socialists are on their way out, folks. I think people in America are pretty much fed up with them, as are people across the UK and other areas in the world. Joey, good deal there, silver liner. Show us a beach cam of South Beach sometime. You know what? That's a good idea. I'll have to do that. I appreciate that. Yeah, big sunken ship that had a ton of gold on it. I saw that out in Colombia, one of the deepest wrecks they have. When they're talking about billions of dollars or something, wouldn't that be amazing? I wonder what's going to come up on that. A lot of Spanish gold for sure. I don't think any U.S. gold is going to be on there. Interesting that you said that, Spanduda. I believe it's not a double. I believe that's really him, but he's just degraded so fast over time. A picture of Joe Biden today and a picture of him even a couple years ago, vast difference in his whole look. They say the presidency ages you, but that man was already over the top when he got in. Sorry to say that. Over the hill would have been the proper word. Biden was already over the hill when he got in. Boy, and the midterms are going to be real interesting, as will the election. Thanks, Wallace. Thanks, Falls. I appreciate your comments there. Going into crypto's investment. Oh, is that another? No, that's not another shammer. Okay, all right. Nope, sorry. When people start mentioning cryptos, I get a little worried on page. But Falls is just talking about how he bought crypto and recent generations. And this guy's this guy uses cryptos to buy precious metals. Ooh, smart trade there, dude. And by the way, like I said, I got a good trade for you guys tomorrow. How to make your silver eagles and your 90% constitutional silver turn into even more silver. How'd you like to start with so many ounces of silver and end up with even more and not paying $1 to do it? I'm going to show you how to do that tomorrow. Yeah, we're waiting for that fuse, and the fuse was lit a long time ago. It's got a fucking long fuse, that's for sure, Wallace. Tree Climber says, sitting back watching the shit show. I agree as well. Paul Krugman, Again, another leftist, socialist, I won't call him a Marxist, but no understanding of economics other than his made-up economics that supports the left. I said it, yep. It's going to blow. Scotty the Kirk, it's going to blow, Captain. Yeah, give her more there, Scotty. Yeah, Peter Schiff's been warning about this a long time ago, since 2008. This bubble is even bigger and greater. Again, it's all about timing. It's all about timing. And remember what I talked about getting rich quick in life? It's about being at the right place at the right time. Well, people that have shorted markets right now, or shorted this stock market or bond market, or somehow managed to make trades that knew that these markets were going to collapse, they're getting rich right now, all right? And Invisible Stacker says, no, thanks for commenting. I did like the candy bar comparison with the silver and the ounce of silver, and I think you probably did a better math. I just did it on the fly. So very astute, Invisible Stacker, and thanks for the comment. Mr. Paul, good deal there. And we never forget the opportunity to connect the dots here on this video. And also, you're right, I need to talk more about rare coins. KS Coins says, I continue to snag platinum. Good for you, dude. Appreciate that. I think platinum's still super cheap at these levels. And I like platinum better than palladium at these levels, that's for sure. And yes, Walmart does sell. Thank you, Charles. Appreciate it. The coin toss returns. You know, I've had mixed emotions about that coin toss. My editor really doesn't like it, but I think that's because he's got to listen to it in the morning, and he's got to figure where to cut into it. But I like the coin toss. I don't know. He seems to think that some people new video, when they listen to this video and they see the coin toss on the fish, they go, what is this? What is this? And then they cut out. But I don't really believe that. I think they just cut out because they weren't interested to start with, or I'm not sure. Maybe. Let me know what you think in comment sections on the coin toss. It's probably going to be 50-50. George says China adjusted their warehouses to see. Yeah, there's probably big issues out there. Thanks for commenting, George. Mark Hall, nice to see you as well. Acacia is constantly out there stacking at these lows whenever they see these lows, buying the frickin' dips. Good job there, Acacia. And thanks for commenting as well. Your website says forbidden. I figured what that out. That's my website right here. If you take a look, there's my website right here. It's a basic generic website, but yeah, it does say forbidden to some areas if you're trying to access it outside the United States. We had to, my website basically, I'm just trying to get local business, so we pretty much cut it off outside the United States. Again, I'm not looking for foreign business, and we found that a lot. When I opened it up globally at my website, and I didn't, again, cut access off outside the U.S., that we were getting a lot of scammers and a lot of attacks on our website. So our website pretty much is only available if you're viewing it in the United States through standard. I'm not even sure you can view me on a VPN. I'd have to look, but thanks on my website, that is. Thanks for your comment, Paul, and I'm sorry about that. Bus driver, if you go on a VPN and you go to a Florida or you go to somewhere in the United States web address, you can probably access my website. And bus driver says, who cares? Oh, excuse me, choked on that one. Who cares about your tooth? Well, hey, nothing like getting right to the point there, bus driver. And it was how much can one talk about the same shit, just silver over and over and over. I agree. That's kind of why I mix it up there, because how often can you just talk? If I just came on and I just talked about the silver's up today, gold's up today, COMEX, CRIMEX, blah, 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 blah. It would get old and boring. I think the whole appeal to me is somewhat that I got a big mouth. So thanks for commenting, and I appreciate it, bus driver. My tooth is, I got it back in. It's still stayed in. I know you don't care about it, so just fast forward here, but my tooth is good. Well, we're going to not need to fast forward because we're going to go into what the best deals out there. Oh, broken record. Tomorrow I'm going to tell you what a great deal is. I'm sorry, I didn't want to throw the F word in there. I just automatically came out. What a great friggin' deal we got tomorrow is going to be to show you how to make your silver grow without spending a dime more. All right, so stay tuned to tomorrow's video. I'll let you know. As soon as you see it, some of you that seen me before will say, that again, wow. And those that haven't seen me talk about this before are going to say, wow, Brian just made me extra money. What's the best deal out there? I'm not even going to go into, as you know, I advertise to beat JM. And again, fast forward through this page if you've heard this 100 times, and I guarantee you have if you watch my videos the last several months. Best deals out there, 100-ounce bars, 10-ounce bars, and kilo bars. But in the order, hundreds, kilos are the best, and then tens, and then ones, okay? On silver, don't buy any of the Sovereign products. Just stick with bars right now. I advertise to be JM bullion, Atmex bullion, SD bullion. Of course, I only sell in South Florida. I'm a brick and mortar, so I don't sell online. I don't ship or anything like that. So if you don't live in South Florida and you can't deal with me directly, and we're open 10 to 4 Mondays through Fridays, you need to find yourself a good local dealer. Not because there's anything wrong with JM or Atmex or SD, just because I think you should keep that money local and support your local dealer who spends that money back in town with local mechanics, AC guys at the local restaurants. So you should always spend your money locally when you can, especially if you find a dealer like myself that's handsome, smart, and will match or beat JM, Atmex, and SD's prices, all right? And I do. Best deals, again, out there, 100-ounce bars, 10-ounce bars, and kilo bars in silver. Best deals out there in gold, same thing. Gold bars are the best deal. I can beat the pants off JM, SD, and Atmex on gold bars. But you know, gold's not so bad. The Sovereign products aren't too bad either. The price of Eagles isn't, Gold Eagles isn't horrible. The premium on Gold Eagles isn't horrible compared to Silver Eagles, which is tremendously horrible. But I'll get into that as well. So gold, you're pretty much open to buying a lot of different products. Again, my opinion is always buy the cheapest recognizable product. And again, recognizable by who? Recognizable by industry people, not your friend, not your buddy, not what the guy said online or the YouTuber said. Recognizable, industry recognizable products at the cheapest premium you can. That applies to gold and silver. That's the best way to go about this, folks. Stacking, that's the best way to stack. Do not stack pretty, shiny things because usually they're going to cost you a lot more and you're never going to get that money back. Well, hey, that's it. My brain is finally clearing up after, man, that whole last month was a wash for me last month. But as I say, think for yourself, folks, and question authority. And in order to think for yourself and to question authority, first you have to question what you know. Question your narrative, question your opinion, because it may not be your own. May have been given to you by media, may have been given to you by, you know, particular politicians you listen to, by a particular station you listen to, by your teachers, by your parents. And again, with all good intent, maybe. But it may not be correct. So question yourself first, question your own narrative, and then it makes it so much easier to question others and question authority. Hey, that's it. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Call us anytime between 10 and 4, Mondays through Fridays. Happy to help you out with whatever you have. And, oh, man. Hey, let's see where this takes us. I'm kind of curious, and I'll talk to you tomorrow, and I'll give you that a way to make more money tomorrow, too, as well. Have a good day. Bye now.